The term megachurch, which is commonly used to refer to a church with a regular attendance of at least 2,000 people, is still relatively new. While there have always been places of worship with huge memberships, the earliest groups that may be considered megachurches didn't exist until the middle of the 19th century. Even still, these gigantic churches remained outliers and exceptions for more than a century. The concept of megachurches emerged in the middle of the 20th century. Almost all of the congregations that are currently categorized as megachurches were founded after 1955. However, it wasn't until the 1980s that these large places of worship really took off. Numerous people believe that megachurches benefit those seeking spiritual connection and the communities they serve. Megachurches draw people together by transforming worship into an exhilarating, magnificent event. But as the phenomenon has become more well-known, issues have emerged. Any significant movement or organization will inevitably have drawbacks, but given the mega in a megachurch, these drawbacks can often be rather significant. In this video, we will talk about the dark secrets of megachurches. Megachurches spread the prosperity gospel. Most likely, when you see megachurches, you picture a polished, smiling pastor standing in front of a sizable congregation while most likely donning a really fine suit. And since many megachurches are affiliated with what is known as the prosperity gospel, it is likely that the pastor flies around on a private jet and resides in a mansion. The prosperity gospel is a belief that, if you pray fervently enough, God will make you wealthy. It can be summarized as the idea that God rewards faith with material prosperity. You would be right if you thought that went against some fundamental Christian beliefs because it excuses any systemic injustices and places the blame for poverty squarely on the individual. It is implied that if you are suffering, your faith is insufficient. It gives avaricious pastors cover. Because their wealth is merely a reflection of their holiness and faith, men like Joel Osteen, pastor of the megachurch Lakewood Church and worth approximately $50 million, don't need to hide the money they receive from the church. People who believed in the prosperity gospel may have contributed to the subprime housing crisis of 2008 by taking out loans they couldn't afford because they believed God would reward their faith, according to some theories. They encourage selfishness. It's natural to believe that those who attend megachurches are fervently spiritual and devout. After all, churches have historically served as the hubs of communities, making church attendance part of the fabric of American society. Megachurches are given a phony look of piety by the notion that only good, devoted Christians find the time to attend church sessions. The traditional Christian idea of service and charity is frequently at odds with the teachings at megachurches. Megachurches, on the other hand, promote a self-centered and self-centered concept of worship. Megachurch congregation members are frequently instructed to concentrate on their own lives and issues, rather than seeing themselves as servants who should care for others. Megachurches are eroding our sense of community. Services take place in a conventional church, which is very small. A few dozen to several hundred members, many of whom are neighbors, may make up the congregation of a small-town church or even a neighborhood church in a big city. However, thousands of people literally attend extravagant, professionally staged services at megachurches, with more people frequently tuning in via television. Premier Christianity stated that this has a tendency to promote spectator worship. Due to the size of the crowds, the majority of visitors do not actively participate, let alone get to know one another. The anonymity that attendees enjoy is viewed as a strength of megachurches since it makes entering for the first time a secure and pleasant experience. However, it also implies that there isn't much of a sense of community. Megachurches turn worship into entertainment. Anyone who has been raised a Christian likely remembers being bored to tears at church as a child and possibly receiving a reprimand for making a scene. Worship services are not meant to be entertaining or thrilling. Instead, they are intended to be edifying, unite people in their faith, and reaffirm Christian principles. Megachurches have developed to resemble entertainment centers more. They frequently stage their services in enormous theaters and arenas that can hold a large number of worshipers, and have very high production values. As a result, church services and entertainment are increasingly confused in society. They're run like corporations. Given how much money megachurches handle, some bring in hundreds of millions of dollars annually, mostly from voluntary contributions known as tithes, it shouldn't come as a surprise that they're frequently run like companies. However, since every church encourages members to give, it shouldn't come as a surprise that megachurches get the benefits of economies of scale. According to Forbes, these churches' pastors behave more like CEOs than spiritual leaders, and megachurches frequently create media and publicity teams to assist in maintaining and even expanding their membership. In fact, a whole business has developed around making megachurches even bigger. Megachurches, however, have two advantages over regular corporations. First, they get tax exemptions on a number of items, and second, they enjoy the support of a sizable number of unpaid volunteers who frequently commit a significant amount of their time to work on the church's behalf. This corporatization of religion has a negative aspect because of how driven by expansion the megachurches have become. According to MSNBC, a few megachurches are considering opening satellite locations that operate much like franchises, which could have a Walmart effect by drawing worshipers away from the local church's more traditional settings. They're quietly racist. One of the main advantages of megachurches, according to their promoters, is their diversity. They frequently have or openly advocate multiracial congregations because they are structured to welcome newcomers and have such sizable congregations. The New York Times also noted that many black churchgoers sought out these megachurches out of a sense of obligation to spread the gospel of an increasingly integrated worship environment. However, the Daily Beast highlighted that when these megachurches display more overt conservative ideology, many of these parishioners are leaving them. Megachurches encourage abusive environments. Your church should be a sanctuary in an ideal world. Whatever your spiritual convictions, going to church should be a chance for you to reflect, think deeply about who you are, and enlist the help of a supportive group of people and a competent spiritual guide. Unfortunately, a lot of megachurches instead produce toxic, abusive situations. The megachurch concept has fascist roots. According to The Atlantic, Peter Drucker was a significant contributor to the development of the contemporary megachurch. Despite becoming an American citizen in 1943, Drucker was born in Austria. According to Britannica, he is most known for his work on the Contemporary Corporation and the development of management theory, but he also served as a key advisor in the development of the seeker-sensitive model that the majority of megachurches use today. Additionally, his outlook was essentially fascist. And many elements of fascist ideology may be found in contemporary megachurches. Pastors are given complete authority, and they are leader-focused. Parishioners must comply with church rules without disagreement and are expected to cede much of their decision-making authority to the church. It is inherently fascist to believe that leaders must be obeyed and the community must be serviced. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video.